So, I'm sorry I missed last week's video, just been busy, but I'm back this week and I'm going to be doing a review on Stephen King's newest book, Fairy Tale. So this book was published on the 6th of September 2022 and my edition is 577 pages long. First off, what I want to say is it's absolutely better to go into this not knowing what it's about. Do not read the synopsis that's on the inside slip or anything like that, because it spoils like the first third of the book. I want to make that perfectly clear. Do not read any synopsis. I think it's the best way to go into it. All that I knew about it was that it's about a guy that finds a portal to another world. That's it. That's all that I knew about it. Knew nothing else. So yeah, as you can see, this book is chunky, and it is a lot longer than his previous book, Billy Summers. And I'm going to come out and say it to you, I didn't like this one. The first third of this book was absolutely fantastic. Like, really 6 out of 5 stars good. I mean, it was incredibly good. I loved the characters, I loved their interactions. It was very down to earth, it just felt so real. I was so engrossed by just the story. I thought they were all really compelling and interesting characters who you just wanted to spend time with. You wanted them to spend time with each other. And there was no weird fantasy shit for the first third. Which, as soon as I realised I was reading, I was like, wow, nothing weird has happened. Like, the book is literally called Fairy Tale and it has a front cover like this. I was like, okay, well, this is actually scary because this book is so good without any of the weird shit. I just hope it stays this good when the weird shit comes in. And unfortunately for me, the last 2/3 of this book really, really fell apart. Everything that was great about the first third of this book was literally gone in the last 2/3. And I'm not joking. Like, almost everything good was just taken away. And I'm not like a prose snob or a writing snob or anything like that, but I really, really noticed the change in writing style from the first third, from this beginning, this really down-to-earth, enjoyable story, and the writing all of a sudden become very, very fantastical and la-di-da-di-da, wishy-washy bullshit that I found really annoying. There's actually like a quote on the back, and just to read it to you, if you can tell what I'm saying, like if you understand why I find this kind of fantasy writing annoying, then alright. I reached the opening and saw the ceiling overhead was now earth, with fine tendrils of root dangling down. I ducked under some overhanging vines and stepped out onto a sloping hillside. The sky was grey, but the field was bright red. Poppies spread in a gorgeous blanket stretching left and right as far as I could see. A path led to thick woods, making me think of the forests that had once grown in my suburban town. I looked to the far horizon and saw the skyline of a great city. Daylight reflected hazily from its highest towers, as if they were made of glass. I find that annoying to read. Especially when the first third is just normally describing things, but then it's like, referring to dirt as earth and fine tendrils of root and shit. Just shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, that was mean, I shouldn't say. Basically, it was a bland fantasy world with a bland fantasy story with just annoying writing. It was really the most average story you could imagine. Like, there's no twists or turns, there's nothing that happens that's like, out of the there's just nothing that happens that's like, shocking or out of the ordinary or like even slightly risky. I just found it really boring, and if I'm going to be honest, I struggled to finish this one. I really was pushing myself for the last like 200 pages. I was just like, oh jeez, this is rough. And another thing that I'm not usually a big complainer about, but I noticed in this, without any spoilers, I wasn't a fan of the ending. I was glad that it was over, but the actual climax, I was like, it just seems kind of too easy. I don't know, like, it was just kind of like the safe option. Like, with the book being called Fairy Tale, it's just kind of like, okay, well, it's obviously going to go there. And then not even that, even the epilogue, I was just like, I can't really suspend my disbelief for it. It was just... No, I don't... No, it doesn't work for me at all. It just... Yeah, it doesn't work. The ending just did not work for me in either the epilogue or the climax at all. If I have to give some credit to the whole fantasy section of the book, is that there is some cool, gross imagery here and there, like a little bit, but it's not even nearly enough to remotely save it. I didn't like any of the new characters that got introduced in the second half, or the second last 2/3, I should say. Basically, I just really didn't like the last 2/3 of this book. I'm going to give Fairy Tale 2 stars. The reason this gets 2 stars is because the first third is so good, but it just takes a massive nosedive once you get past that first third. That's the thing I've been noticing with these books a lot recently. You get halfway through, or like a fair chunk of the book through, and it shifts. Billy Summers did the same thing. I thought it did it excellently. The Outsider did the same thing. I wasn't a big fan of where that went. Because again, The Outsider is one that starts off like amazing, but it's like, you know, the first 300 pages of a 500-page book are amazing, and the last 200 it's kind of just whatever. The Institute kind of did this as well, and I think it did it brilliantly. But for me, this one just didn't hit the nail on the head, and to me it ranks near the bottom of King's work, which is sad because I was really looking forward to this one. But then again, I'm looking forward to every new Stephen King book. It's better than his other kind of fantasy stuff like Insomnia and Lacey's Story. It's eons and just years better than The Talisman, which its subject matter is pretty similar to, but it's still not very good. However, I do want to stress that just because I didn't like this book, I'm not saying that King shouldn't go branch out and do different things from usual, because I think that Billy Summers is one of his best books, and that's completely different to anything he's ever really done. The closest thing is the Bill Hodges trilogy, and even then, that's not even really comparable. I really want him to keep doing weird things, because I don't want him to play it safe. And that's the thing, he kind of did play it safe here a little bit, especially once you get into it, but the whole, just the subject matter and the vibe of the book is completely different to most other things he's written. As the thing with experiments, sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. This is one of those times that it didn't, and that's fine. And I know that for other people, it did pay off. Other people really enjoyed it, which is great. I've seen a lot of reviews, read a lot of reviews that say it's just absolutely amazing, but I've also seen a lot of reviews that are saying similar things to me, and it's just not very good. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed Fairy Tale. It's definitely worth a read, I think, because just the amount of people that have been loving it is cool to see. But yeah, this one just wasn't for me at all. And yeah, I'll see you all later. Bye.